Well guys, we've made it to grand finale in book 3 of Hal Leonard. That means we've done just about 200 lessons. If you were doing this weekly with me in live time, you'd get about 40 lessons a year, so this could be 5 years into your guitar playing. We've distracted, of course, along the way, playing different scales, different chord progressions, working in thirds and sixes and learning different songs. And that's how it works for me in real life as well. Very often that means we don't actually get this far. People are playing over the years and they start branching out in their own directions. We end up going off into just song learning or soloing or different aspects, getting jazz songs ready or something like that. And only a small handful, I can't remember how many, maybe 1, maybe up to 5, have actually made it all the way through book 3. You probably noticed that during book 1 I could teach that with my eyes shut. I've taught it hundreds of times. I know what's on each page as it comes up. When I hit pentatonic songs, I can start jumping around the book if I want to different pentatonic songs that use the same idea. In book 2, I start to slow down a little. I haven't had as many people get through it. And in book 3, as I'm playing through during this exercise, I've actually found that I didn't know some of the songs in here. I know I played them at least once or twice with somebody, but I don't recall them. And I've had insights during this time that I never had before. One of those is that you've actually learned to play real guitar. You're actually a professional level guitarist if you can do these things live. The bluegrass runs we looked at last time, you could find in a legitimate bluegrass book. This solo is based on Stairway to Heaven. It looks like a blues etude. I've taught these as etudes in the Hal Leonard, but this one is actually a pretty good paraphrase of a lot of the ideas of Stairway to Heaven. So knowing that, let's try to get into this and see if I can get her done in one session. We're playing a progression you've seen before. It's the progression from Stairway to Heaven during the solo. It's also from Don't Fear the Reaper, and it's a part of our Andalusian progression. It's A minor, G, F, and G. I've checked out some Hal Leonard background tracks to this recently, and it's played in kind of a soft, funky manner, but you could play a rock feel to it. Which is a little bit more like Stairway to Heaven. Parts of this solo will not sound good naked without that in the background. We'll talk about those as they come, and I won't have a background, so you may want to go listen to a background track and play to it. So we're basically in the 5th fret pentatonic minor. Just like Stairway to Heaven solo, the soloist here introduces a bunch of F notes. Those would be from the Aeolian scale. So we've got A, C, D, E, F, G, A, C, D, E, F, G, A, C. There are no B notes in this, so we're not fully playing the Aeolian, but we're inserting the F note. And it's kind of a weird note. It's like this flat 6 against the scale. And you might wonder why, except that you notice the progression uses F chords. And just like Jimmy Page in Stairway to Heaven, when we land on that F chord, they'll hit an F note to go with it. That's this 6th fret right here. It shows up on the F chord again here. It will also show up as the 8th fret on the 5th string. Again, just like in Stairway to Heaven. As we get near the end of the song, they'll have a little repeating riff, where that F is played over an F chord. But it's also played over a G chord. In a G chord, it would be the G7. So let's go into it. I'll play through slowly. In the book, actually I'll show you the book. It's going to be on your screen as well. In standard notation, they're showing you the D note bent to the E. That's this 7th fret bend. And it's occurring over half a beat and then holding for the remainder of beat 2. That notation gets a little hard to read. When you see it in tab, it's much easier and more intuitive. It can play a little funkier by sustaining that bend over a little bit more time. Rather than bending right to it, you can bend slowly to it. Hold it, and then come down. So what we do with that bend is you're going to aim for an E note. So we get 1 and 2 and then 16th notes coming down the scale with pull-offs. What they just taught us was pull-offs, so that's the point of this. We'll play the 5th fret, pull from 8 to 5 on the second string, and land on the 7. This is 3 E and A. Then we move down the scale a little bit and start on the 8, pull off to 5, and 7 pulls off to 5 on the next string. So we've done a little sequence of 16th notes. 3 E and A, 4 E and A, working our way down. Our bend again, shooting for that note. 1 and 2 and 3 E and A, 4 E and A. As we hit the F chord, we land on this A note of the F chord. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 and 2 and. I'm using 8th rests to get us off beat 3. They'll usually use ties, but here I can count that I'm on A for 2 beats. 1 and 2 and 3. I bend the 8 and land on it on beat 1 of the next bar. Note-wise, that's all going to be A notes. 3 and 4 and 1. But we're bending the 8 to sound like that. And 4 and 1, 2 and. That lick again on the G and the A minor. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and. That gets us to the E note on an A minor chord. That's the 5 of the A minor chord. Next string, we bend that 7 again to sound like an E note on the and of 3 again. 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2. The run down the F note here. 1 E and a 2 and 3. Rest. Play the E on the G chord. Notice we're sequencing our way up the scale now. We'll come off this beat 3, the E note on the G chord. 3 and hammer 5 to 7, 4 E and 1 and now we start on that again. 2 E and 3, we're on the 7 of the next string. This is the D note on the G chord, it's the 5, and then hammer on that string on 4 E and A. 4 E and. Here we get our F note on the F chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That A note is going to hold on. It's anticipated from the G chord into the A chord. I did indicate here that I'm still on the A without showing the tie. Then we do another 16th note pull-off riff. 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. So we're bending D to E again. Walk up the scale from F again on the F chord, so we're out of pentatonic here again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. To save time, I've shown you one pull-off riff, and I'm saying to play it 4 times. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. These are really cool. What I mentioned a few times earlier is that we're going to repeat one riff while the chords change. I can't show you exactly how that's going to sound, but what the image I always got was letting a rubber band pull, and you're pulling on and you're like do 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 do. People are expecting you to release the tension, but you just keep going with it do 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 do. As you keep going, the tension builds and builds, and then you release it. Our teacher in college used to say, let the rhythm section do the work for you. You can play one note or a repeating figure and listen to the chords change. Your ideas are changing themes over each chord. In this case, we're doing a 4 flat 3 root flat 7 on an A minor chord. On a G chord, it's a 5 to a 4 and a 2 and a root. Didn't quite get it, but you can hear the idea. It's going to have a different sound on each chord. Unfortunately, unaccompanied, you're not going to hear that. This is how I've played 99% of my guitar in my life, is just sitting here by myself playing. I don't know if I imagine chord changes or not, but when you actually hear the chord changes and you play over them, you're going to allow yourself to repeat ideas a lot better while you listen to the chords change. On the F, I mentioned this already, we're going to do the F, That's root, 7, 6, and 5 on F. On G, that's a flat 7 down to a 4. So as the chord changes, you've changed your flavor from roots to flat 7s. You've gotten bluesier without even trying. Next riff is on the A. We're coming down from A. On the G chord, that would be a 9, landing on a 5. So we're going to do it 4 times. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a bend the 8. And that would be beat 1, 2 and then run off the G. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and this riff then goes all the way to the end, 4 times per bar for 4 bars. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and so on. As you do it again, the chords are changing all the time. So your idea is changing its tone over each of those. So let's hear the whole thing in slow motion. I'll put it up on your screen now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a third bar, fourth bar, and there's your A minor at the end. I'll try just a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 1 and a I think I lost count. That might have been it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a that feels like 2 bars. Last bar. Those pull-offs didn't sound that great, but that should do her, guys. So that's it for book 3. I'm going to be moving around a bit more back into some other books, maybe more into beginner lessons of fingerstyle now or jazz progressions. We'll have to find out as we go. Take her easy, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.